You're watching TVC Breakfast. Let's get to the next discussion briefly. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has promised to bring to justice the killers of 22-year-old Miss Oluwabamise. The governor said that the circumstances surrounding the alleged disappearance and death of the young lady while in transit on a BRT bus will be fully unraveled. Governor Sanwo-Olu said that the state government remains determined to pursue the matter transparently to a logical conclusion, but cautioned those making attempt to twist the issue with unfounded insinuation and conjectures to desist from making comments that may preempt outcome of investigation being conducted by security agencies. The governor said those raising allegations of cover-up against the state government must have a rethink, emphasizing that there should be no reason for anyone to trivialize an incident that claimed the life of an innocent citizen. So joining me now to discuss this is public affairs analyst Razak Olukoba. Razak, it's nice to have you join me.
Good morning.
Great. I know you've been following this development, and there has been a lot of comments from different people analyzing it from different perspectives and all of that. But from your perspective, I know you've been following this right from it started. Remember we spoke on this sometime. I wonder what you see happening here.
Well, thank you, Mike, for having me. It's a trauma to the society to see such a thing happening. And it's expected that anger might transform into some form of misinterpretation. It's the duty of institutions like your own, particularly the government, to be able to calm the nerves of the people by doing the appropriate thing. And I know that we have a government that in Lagos that does things which other states try to follow. When COVID-19 came on board, he brought out the best in Sanwo-Olu, the NSAS issue, the way he quickly rallied around the situation will have gotten out of hand. So on this note too, you will discuss, if you remember very well that the driver has escaped, has run away, the effort that went to bring him back should be commended. If we are to be in other cases, you know how many years it took us to see minor children and so when they ran away before they brought them back again. So within about a space of 2-3 days, he was brought back. The technology that was used to track him down is wonderful. So we commend Lagos government, we commend the DSS, because security agents at times look at the body language of the guys in government, that if you are not serious about it, our morale will not be high. But because of what they see in the character of our people in government, they were moved that, okay, there's a need for us to work. It's going on well. And what we are supposed to do as a civil society, we are following the key. We'll make sure that it comes to a logical conclusion. My appeal is that there must be consequence. Because when things like this happen often and often, we have to address the root cause. But the immediate solution is that there must be consequence. Once you give consequence to crimes like this, people will have a rethink. After doing that, they will now look at it. Why are people thinking that this flesh can turn to money? At what point? Is it desperation? And the genesis is desperation for survival. The economy has turned some people to think in a very weird manner. You see the number of our young guys that sells drug now, that goes into Yahoo, that is a internet fraudster. I'm not short of things. And when you have institutions that are weak, it keeps destroying, it keeps bringing people, officers. Look at Abakari too. So decadence is eating deep into our institution, because we have a semblance of something that is weak, that is not capable of building people. Because institution builds people. And when you have weak institution, you can't build people. So we have to address why is our economy so weak that it allows for a corresponding moral depression. Because when economy is under depression, it calls for a corresponding moral depression. So we must look at it. And the way to begin is not to do it in isolation. The nation is in a big trouble. It's not only in Lagos. In fact, Lagos has several agencies. That is why we can still work on the street. There's neighborhood, there's last mile, there's all sorts of agencies that create a complementary role for the police. Otherwise, we'll have been in a bigger mess. Traffic warden alone, that's under the federal police. If they are the only people on our roads, we will be in a mess. So, and several agencies. So it's not only in Lagos, we have all over the country. We need to address it simultaneously. Look at the numbers of criminals that are increasing. It's not because the guns are not enough. It's not because the bullets are not enough. So it's a thing that we must look at it together. Let's see how to rejuvenate our economy. And the best way that we have recommended so far is that the effort the federal government is putting into building the economy is fine, good. But also give devolve power to state governors to build the economy. Let them take control of their resources so that it will be easy for job creation. 70% of the Nigerian population are youth. Out of that 70%, only about 10% get good job. The remaining 90% seek for unconventional means to survive.
But
so when you have that kind of situation,
even in that space, we still see a lot of people who are thriving to make genuine
of course, and those
all of that
should be commended.
And it has given us a great name out there when it comes to startups, when it
those
comes
are people
to
called
invention.
innovation builders.
Exactly. But looking at it from the perspective of insecurity, where, like you said, in Lagos, it could have been worse if we didn't have all these complementary security agencies here and there. Now, in the case of Bamishe, where we're hearing of a crime like that taking place in the BRT bus that is supposed to be public, that is supposed to be government owned. We used to hear of one chance.
Yeah.
We used to hear of all of those issues. Now, this happening in a government bus, how different, how much of concern is this differently?
Before now, you'll be shocked to see graduates caught up in armed robbery. Long ago, in armed robbery, graduates, decadence is a communicable disease. It keeps spreading. It will enter all the fabric of our society. So it's not because there's no background check. It's not because BRT's employment scheme is weak or it's not. No! It's a decadence. And that decadence keeps spreading. It goes into our church, it goes into our mosque, it goes into schools, it goes into our institutions. It brings your good officers down. Every public office holder today in Nigeria needs to be extremely careful in the discharge of his duty. Otherwise, in 24 hours, he'll be cut off doing one conventional thing or the other. That's decadence. And that is not because he likes to do it, but that's how the society is turning out to be. It becomes pretty difficult for you to go out, conduct your service, go to bank, go everything, and come back in a day. What kind of society is that? And once you have that kind of society, we don't have to address the issue with the corner of our eyes. We have to pay attention to it, that our nation is going. Our nation is going. Do you think people don't want to come back in Ukraine? Don't have access to come back. There's a corridor created for them to come. They don't want to come back. I don't want to come back. And those are kind of desperation we're talking about. That we have also said that our youth who don't subscribe to criminality because the economy is bad. Those youth should be commended. We have to inspire them. If you do well in mathematics, you have to be rewarded. I like what you guys are doing. Your staffs are there 14 years of good service. Instead, all of us look at it, who is this guy? Those are ways to encourage good people. But for people who have the stamina, the way to address it is to quickly pay attention to our economy. The genesis, one of the major genesis is the economy. It's becoming a bandwagon. So it's not because the DRT are bad guys, they don't have good employment. It's not. It's only BRT. There's no institution in Nigeria that it won't get into. And the recent is the police. That's a shock to us, that Akiari, a fine officer, good guy. Look at what has happened to him. So he kept discharging his duty, but he's caught up in it. And that's how good officers get caught up. I'm not building case for Abba Kiado, but I'm just telling you the implication of where we are finding ourselves. Now BRT buses is a model that other states have picked up. They picked up LASMA, they picked up Kai, they picked up also. It was the template laid by Lagos government, led by Sanwo-Olu, that other people follow in the fight against COVID-19. I was part of this society you call to start advocacy, to start giving people orientation, how to respond, how to do all sorts of things. And that's all that they picked up from. I know that from information of interacting with the government officials, that LASMA officials that were staff of Lagos are the of LASMA in many of the states. So what we should do in this kind of situation is to provide necessary support for the government. What kind of stuff do we want to provide for him? That the guy has been caught is a good thing. Any information, like the friend did a good job, and that's the kind of orientation we should keep giving to our people, that once this kind of thing happen, you have to escalate it. That's how I say policing work in the world succeed. It's not the police only. It's the support that are given to them. So we need to support the government. Don't let us not, like what the governor has said, that nobody is trying to call out this kind of thing. The necessary support we need, let's boost the morale of the government. And at the end of the day, once you have consequence, once we pursue the case to a logical conclusion, and if the guy is wanting, appropriate punishment is given to him, others will have a rethink.
Of course, it will be a deterrent to other people. All right, Razak Olukoba, thank you so much for your insight into this. We wait to see how these things will play out as well.
It's a pleasure being with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.